States. So there was a new application for forgiveness that was released by the SBA in the past week. And basically, it's a new forgiveness app for loans or amounts of PPP that were under $50,000. And so the impact here is that it's a much more simplified form from even the easy form that was released several months ago. And what it basically is removing is the calculation for how much maximum amount you'll be able to have forgiven. And so it really helps to streamline the process. Of course, now for the most part, most systems and lenders and organizations that offer PPP funds are now going back to the drawing board to change their internal system so that you're able to apply for them. So if you were wanting to kind of just get this out of the way and have the application process completed and the forgiveness piece completed so that you don't have to worry about it anymore and it's not the monkey on your back and you used up all your funds and you're ready to apply, this might be the great option for you if you were under 50K because it's very, very simple. And, in the meantime, we're still holding our breath for the 150K blanket forgiveness to be done, which is still expected. However, things are moving slowly, as the government often does. It's a slow-moving animal, and that's the case. Right now, it's an election year, so everybody's kind of on hold until the election happens. So I am still probably leaning towards the side of blanket forgiveness for those loans that are under 150K. However, if you want to get this out of the way for you, this would be a great opportunity to be able to do that because it's a very simplified application. Of course, the entire application process is going to be up to each lender and available bank that you or syntax lender that you use to apply for PPP. So it might be wise to have a conversation with your banker or that organization or look for updates on those systems that you applied through. I know it's a little bit harder to get a hold of a person if you applied through PayPal or Square or any of those funding methods. So that might be something you might have to hold on to for a little bit or reach out and wait for those updates to happen. But if you're looking to kind of get the forgiveness process out of the way, I would talk to your banker and just kind of get their thoughts on whether or not you should or just continue to wait until that the expected blanket forgiveness is passed. But that's kind of my take on it there. So if you have questions about PPP, forgiveness, or anything regarding that, please drop it in the comments or let me know, and I will be sure to follow up with you. I know that this year has kind of just been crazy and everything's a little bit up in the air. There's still not a whole lot of definition as to how this is going to affect anybody tax-wise. The application for forgiveness process is probably still going to be lengthy in the time that it's going to take. So it's expected that it's going to take 60 days for the bank to come back to you and let you know whether or not the application was good to then pass on to the SBA, which is expected to take another 90 days after that before forgiveness is actually given on any of these things. So most likely the amounts for PPP are going to get rolled over into 2021. And at that time, depending on if you get forgiveness or not, it will become income is most likely the scenario that's going to happen. So just something to kind of be aware of. And we had talked about how to put it on your books previously. So make sure you go back and watch that video from Your Accounting Sidekick. We did that a week or so ago. And yeah, so that's the update on PPP. The other thing I wanted to talk to you because I have a live Q&A session coming up on Thursday with Your Accounting Sidekick. So if you haven't already registered for that, please make sure that you do. You can go ahead and register for that on this link that I'm going to drop in the whatever description shortly or the comment section. But anyways, so today I wanted to talk about was asking questions and the fear and restriction and ashamedness and nervousness that we sometimes feel from asking questions and kind of where that comes from, because asking questions can be difficult, right? If we aren't sure what we're asking about, or if we're not sure what to ask, or if you think that people are going to judge you for not knowing the answer to that question, And I have a feeling about the saying that there's never a dumb question. I think that's true to an extent. I definitely think that there is such a thing as a dumb question. However, usually it's in relation to somebody already answering that question, or trying to get a rise out of it. So I have 4 kids, so sometimes my kids ask me questions that they already know the answer to. So that, in that case, I feel like is a dumb question. But sometimes as adults, we can do that as well, in terms of maybe not being thoughtful about what we're asking, um, or anything like that. But when it comes to business, especially business, because business is such a different experience, and it's a different journey from anything else that you probably will ever be on. So when it comes to business and asking questions, I think it's really, really good. But we have this fear that happens, or this, like I said, this shamefulness that happens when we ask questions. And the reason why is because oftentimes when you are nervous or ashamed to ask questions, it's because your confidence level is low. And so, depending on your personality type, you might struggle with this more than others. Some people, I think, are like born with this natural confidence, but confidence is also something that you can learn and grow into. And when you're a business owner, regardless of what kind of business you're in, you have to have a certain level of confidence because you are selling yourself, right? People buy people. They don't necessarily buy products or services, although they certainly do that as well, probably more so on products. But when you're a service-based business, or you're a boutique, or you're a smaller organization where you have a lot of one-on time with your customers, people are going to buy you. And so having that level of confidence not only gives people confidence in what you're selling, but it also gives people confidence in what they're buying. So, like, I know it sounds like the same exact thing, but it's kind of not. If you think about it, when you're selling something, you have to have that confidence, but you're exuding that confidence or transferring that confidence over to your buyer. So your confidence has to be at a level that's going to be matched by that other person when they're buying. And so when it comes to being a business owner, that confidence and that ability to ask questions to improve yourself and your business is super, super important. And so as part of our programs, we have this twice a month Q&A session that's available for people to ask questions. And accounting can be really hard to ask questions about because sometimes you don't even know what the questions might be, right? But what I wanted to say and why I'm bringing this up in conversation is because asking questions actually helps build your confidence. So as you ask questions, it becomes more of a normal thing. It becomes more of a thing that you're practicing. And sometimes even asking questions is more of a skill, right? Asking the right questions. If you're hiring, you have to ask certain questions in order to be able to really dig into that person. Being able to ask questions helps you to define what you're doing. So like even you have to ask yourself, right? Figure out your why. That's why we have that. Why do you do what you do? What do you love to do? Who do you like to serve? All those kind of things as we're creating businesses and products and services to sell, we got to ask a lot of questions. But then on the other side of that is asking questions externally. So being able to ask questions internally, but also externally is going to help build your confidence, but it's also going to help build your business. So I've learned to ask questions more, being an adult and being in business than I ever did before. And even sometimes there are still times when I'm like, is this a good question to ask? And sometimes you can even like, I hear people often like preview their question, right? And they're like, I know this is a silly question, or, don't mind me, like, kind of a thing. Which, if it makes you more confident to say that question by giving it like a buffer, go ahead and do that. Whatever you have to do in order to be able to ask the questions is important, and it is ultimately going to help you grow both professionally and personally. So I want to encourage you to get over that question, fear, and anxiety and shamefulness, because asking questions are good. And as that saying goes, there isn't a bad question you can ask. There's never a wrong question you can ask, especially when it comes to business, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, and you won't know it until you ask. And even asking it so that it's relevant to you, so you have a better understanding of it, can make a huge difference. So ask questions, ask clarifying questions, ask discovery questions, whatever it has to be in order to make sure that you're improving yourself. And if you want to ask me, make sure you register for our Q&A session on Thursday. There's another one at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. I don't think it's the same link, but it might be. But so you can go ahead and check on the link for that. It's the end of the tax season. We're on the 15th is like the last day, so don't mind me if I'm a little bit scrambled. But I basically wanted to just do that. Ask questions. It's good to ask questions. It's going to help you grow and define and adjust and make a plan. So do that and learn, right? Learn more about yourself and your business, because the more you can understand about yourself and your business, the more equipped you are going to be to continue to grow. So that was all for today. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.